Hello and a warm welcome to Advanced Audit and Assurance, your path to AAA excellence. If you're gearing up for the AAA exam previously recognized as the P7 exam, you're at the right place. In this video, we will walk through the past exam question. Get ready, we are not just studying the past exam question, we are unlocking the secrets to decoding the scenarios, finding numerous points we can make in the exam to gain marks easily, masterfully drafting answers up to the examiner standards, and skyrocketing your chances of success in the AAA exam. Stay tuned for game-changing insights that will transform your approach and elevate your ACCA journey. Let's go ahead. In this video, we will be discussing question number 1, part B, part 2 of March 2020. Darrell and Co., Atlanta and Co. I hope you are following me and you are continuing with what we are doing. Now let us read the requirement part B, part 2. Design the principal audit procedures which you will instruct the component auditor to perform on the sale of property to the group chief executive officer. From your earlier studies or from your earlier attempt of this question, you are aware that this company has got Darrell and Co. is a foreign subsidiary, right? And it is being audited by a component auditor, that is a local firm in its territory. Now, what are the audit procedures you would instruct the component auditor in this case? But it's requiring a specific audit procedures, right? Not generic. It's telling you to tell the audit procedures on the sale of property to the group CEO. Now it's a sale of property to the group CEO. I want you to think of points you can make or the procedures you can design. Let us take a break and you can think of the points coming in your mind. Then we will continue this part. I hope we have tried thinking of the audit procedures coming up for sale of property to the group CEO. Now, mind it, from your earlier studies of the SBR paper or the accounting paper, you would be aware that there is a standard for any transaction between the group chief executive officer, that is the key management personnel, and the company. There should be a separate disclosure for this. I hope you are aware of this. And since there is a sale of property to the group CEO, so there need to be specific audit procedures to be performed on this transaction because it is a key transaction. It is a major transaction between the group CEO and the company. And now, one thing I want you to remember is the mnemonic for the audit procedures. Based on the mnemonic, you will always be easily drafting your points. It's not going to be like, the mnemonic is road, R 2 times, that is R, 2R, single O, single A, single D. Okay, road. What does this road stand for in audit procedures? R is for review, right? R is for review. Then R is for recalculate. You have to review the documents for the audit procedure to be performed. Always remember this. Then you have to recalculate the figures you have been provided or the figures that are underlying the transaction, right? Then you've got O. O is always for obtain representation. You have to obtain a written representation in many cases where it's judgmental or where judgment cannot be exercised specifically, so you need to obtain written representation. Then comes the A, that is analyze. For analyze, again you have to make calculations or you have to work on some workings given to you as an auditor, but you don't have to show the workings in this case. You just have to design the audit procedure based on analyze, that you have to analyze the following thing to get this thing. Always remember that this is important. that you have to tell the audit procedure based on what has to be performed. You have to tell that in the audit procedure. Always it should always begin with a verb. It should always tell what this procedure is for or what it has to work on, and it should always give you the conclusion that what will you gain from this, right? And then the last one is D. D is always for discuss. Alright, now based on the information provided and the sale of property to group CEO, let us draft our audit procedures. But I want you to have a look at this point related to this group property so that you are able to think of points easily. Over here, see, sale of property. Darrell Co. sold a small unused building located in the coast to the group CEO in February 20x5 for $50,000. The amount is still outstanding for payment. The group CEO is planning to use the property as a holiday home. The group is not concerned with what the use of property is supposed to be by the CEO. This is irrelevant to us in case of being an auditor, but over here this information is important to us, that the sale of property was done during the year by the group to the CEO for $50,000 in February 20x5 and the payment is still outstanding, right? Now what is the planned audit procedure by the component auditor? Confirm $50,000 is included in receivables within the current assets. Do you think is this a sufficient audit procedure to be performed by the component auditor? I totally disagree with this, because confirming 50,000 as a receivable in current assets is insufficient. They need to verify that this amount is taken out from the non-current assets register. That is, it has been removed. The building has been removed as a non-current asset register now from the assets register, right? Number two, they've made a proper disclosure for this transaction or not. Yes, and they obviously and they have to verify from bank statement that whether there was some any proceeds received from the CEO to the group's account or not, and whether the carrying value of the property was the same or below this or more than this in the non-current assets register. Any loss or gain on this transaction by the group by selling it for 50,000? Was there any loss or profit on sale of this land to the CEO? So many points. See, I am telling you orally right now. We will begin drafting this point also. These points we will be drafting also. But I am just trying to brainstorm yourself. Right? You have to brainstorm yourself. Until and unless you think of points, until and unless you brainstorm yourself, it's going to be useless. Right? And what else? You can obtain a written representation from the company management related to this transaction or from the CEO, right? Yes, from CEO to confirm that this 50,000 is still outstanding or he still has to pay this, right? Now let's see what is the other point. No further audit procedures are considered necessary because the transaction is not material to the financial statements. We calculated the materiality as 1.4 million for the year, and over here it says this is 50,000 is immaterial to the financial statement, so no further audit procedures are to be performed, and local accounting rules do not require the disclosure of the transaction. See, the local accounting rules do not require the disclosure of this transaction. Based in the country Darrell and Co. is situated, there its component auditor is auditing the financial statements, right? Don't you think that this is a requirement by the IFRS by the IAS standards. Yes, a disclosure is required anyhow because it's a material transaction by nature, not by amount. By nature, it is a material transaction. A disclosure is required in the financial statements. And since Darrell and Co. is a subsidiary of the group, so it needs to follow the accounting rules and regulations followed by the group as a whole. So it needs to disclose this transaction. I hope you are following me and you are clear with this point. Right. So shall we move on to the drafting process now? We have to draft points for the audit procedures to be performed, right? So are you ready? Okay, let's move on. Now since this is in continuation, I am mentioning this over here too, and I am mentioning part B too, right? Now what is this? Audit procedures on sale of property, right? And I am going to bold it. So you always have to remember that you have to give headings where possible, and you have to make it bold if there is a choice, but you have to do it because it's a CBE exam now, so you can easily bold it. So you have to bold this now so that it becomes prominent to the marker of your paper to identify points. You have to make it easy for the marker. So let us begin drafting the points. Now, the first point would be since it's a transaction with the key management personnel, the CEO, don't you think there would have been some board meeting which would have approved this transaction to the CEO or with the CEO? Right, so we can draft our first point that review the board minutes to see if the property sale has been formally approved by the company board. Right, you see how we have drafted a point. See, we told the audit procedure beginning with the verb review, right? Out of the road which we made a mnemonic for the procedures. So review was one of the procedure which we had in our mnemonic. We use our mnemonic word from the mnemonic review as the audit procedure. Now review what it is to be performed on. We review the board minutes, right? To see what do we want to see from the board minutes, to see if the property sale has been formally approved, right, by the company board. So it was what procedure we did was the review. On what we did was board minutes. For what was it? To find out whether this was approved by the board or not, right? Whether the sale of the property was approved by the board or not. So we completed this procedure. See how short. These are always procedures and evidences are always easy marks in the exam. You have to focus on this. You have to brainstorm yourself in drafting audit procedures, audit evidences, and you have to think of as many procedures, as many audit evidences in your practice as many you can, so that you are able to gain marks easily. These are easy marks in the exam. Now what else can we think of? Let us come back to the case. Now we were told that this transaction was for $50,000, right? Now see, if there is a sale of property, right? So there should have been some documents, some agreement between the CEO and the company for the sale of property, so that this property can be transferred in the name of the CEO later. There should be a sale agreement for this case, right? Yes, so let us draft a point based on this, that we have to look at the documentation. And what would we find out from the documentation? One more thing I came up with. See, this is $50,000 we were provided in the case, right? By reading at the legal documentation, we can confirm that this price is correct or not, right? So let us draft a point, one more point, that review the legal documentation, right, of what relating to the sale of property, right? Why? To agree $50,000 sale price, right? Review the legal documentation relating to the sale of property, to agree $50,000 sale price by the group to the CEO, right? We drafted another point. You see how we are drafting. Look at how we are drafting. It's really important to know how you draft. Now, one thing which I was coming up with, or which we discussed earlier, was that we would have to look at the non-current assets register to check the carrying amount of the property in that, right? Right, so let us draft our point based on this one. Confirm the carrying amount of the property to the underlying accounting records and the non-current assets register, right? And when at the date of disposal. See, we drafted another point. And one more thing which we can confirm is that confirm the property has been removed from the non-current assets register, right, at the date of disposal. You see how we have drafted another point. Now what else can you think of? Read the point again. I told you that this we were confirming that the carrying amount of this property was removed from the non-current assets register or not, right? So don't you think we could calculate the profit or loss on sale of this property? Certainly we can, right? So what we can do is we can draft a point that in which we can take management's what we call, we can take the management's determination of sale of or the profit or loss on the sale of property, right? Or not, and whether it has been recorded in the financial statements or not, right? And we can take we can write, we can take an or we can obtain an an estimate of the fair value of the property to consider the reasonableness of the transaction, right? So let us draft these 2 points separately. Obtain an estimate of the fair value of the property, right? What is this for? Of the property to consider the reasonableness of the transaction and the sale price, right? Now what we another which we were supposed to do was we were supposed to take the determination of manager, right? Okay, management's determination of the profit or loss on disposal of the property, right? I would like to elaborate this point further, that obtain management's determination of the profit or loss on disposal of the property, and what else can you do? Right, and and agree the profit or loss recognized in the financial statements, right? Because it needs to be verified from the financial statements that this profit or loss was recognized or not for the year. Now what else can we think of? Have a look. We discussed that this should have been disclosed in the financial statements, right? So we can obtain a written representation from the company's management that all the disclosures related to this transaction have been disclosed in the group financial statements or not, right? And we can do one more thing, we can obtain a written representation from the CEO of the group to confirm that this amount is still outstanding or not, right? One more, these 2 points, right? So let us draft these 2 points. Obtain a written representation from the management, or rather from the group management, right? For what thing? That all disclosures related to to the no, we can say that relevant to the related party transaction have been disclosed in the financial statements, right? Then another one, obtain a written representation from the CEO to confirm that the $50,000 is outstanding or is still outstanding, not yet to be paid. It's still outstanding, right? So we have made 2 points from this one single point. Now have a look till now how many audit procedures you have drafted. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. 8 points, 8 points we have drafted up till now out of 6 for 6 marks. So each audit procedure carries 1 mark in the exam. So see, we have drafted 8 points up till now out of 6 which were required in the exam. And mind it, brainstorm yourself, practice as much as you can. Do not take this lightly, and do not consider this easy. You have to brainstorm yourself. Once you are done with the brainstorming, once you have practiced enough audit evidences and procedures, then this is easy marks in the exam. And one more thing I would like to point out for you is that yes, see, we have drafted 8 points, and one more point I am coming up with is also easy, and we discussed this while we were reading out the question. That see, it says confirm 50,000 is included in receivables within the current assets. But don't you think we can review the cash book or the cash receipts related to this transaction, that this 50,000 has been received or not? We have to confirm this, it's still outstanding. So we can draft a procedure for this also, that we can see, agree or no, not agree, we can say review the cash book or let's say cash register to confirm that the $50,000 payment has not been received. See, we are verifying from so many points. We are taking a written representation from the group CEO that yes, this is still outstanding. We are reviewing the cash register to see this is still outstanding. We are reviewing the financial statements to see it is still included in the outstanding or receivables in the current assets portion or not. So we are working on the same transaction or the same figure, and we are trying to examine it from so many points, so many areas. So up till now, see, we have drafted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9 points. 9 procedures we have drafted up till now, and see, there were 6 marks only. So you have to brainstorm yourself. I would suggest you to practice and practice. Think simple, be simple, and pass this AAA exam easily. Don't haphazard yourself, don't overthink. It's easy to think. Brainstorm yourself, practice exam questions, and you will pass, I am sure. Okay, so with this we have completed our part B number 2 based on the procedures, and I would like to say that in the next part or in the next video we would continue with the part C of this video, of this question, which is coming up for 6 marks again. So let us end this video over here, and let us come in part C in the next video. Okay, take care. Thank you. Good luck. Towards the end of this video, you need to remember greatness doesn't happen overnight. It's the result of continuous effort, boundless curiosity, and a thirst for improvement. Investing time in these videos and engaging with past AAA exam questions is an investment in the brighter future you're shaping up. Keep your focus sharp, your learning continuous, and your eyes focused on your goals. Best of luck as you navigate your studies. May your dedication lead you to success in the AAA exam.